I never got to hold a grandchild. My son couldn't walk me down the aisle. And it wasn't because he was careless and had a motorcycle crash. It was because one illegal alien was catered to, released. Oh, don't do this no more. When he did it again, oh, please don't do it no more. So almost 12 years later, my life's never the same. I'm never the same again.
Welcome to No Border, No Country. We're talking today about crimes committed against American citizens by people here illegally. Our guest is Sabine Durden-Coulter, who's an angel mom, who's a very vocal voice on this topic. Sabine, thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. Absolutely pleasure.
People who follow our issues are probably familiar with you, but for those who aren't, can you tell us a little bit about the work you do and about Dominic's story?
Absolutely. I wasn't into politics. I just enjoyed being Dominic's mom. And we shared a household together after his dad and I got divorced. And life was just the best. We had a lot of plans. He was exceptional with the sheriff's department as a dispatcher. And our lives changed drastically on July 12, 2012, when an illegal alien with 3 felonies, deportations, they had him so many times, took his unregistered, uninsured, and of course he was unlicensed truck and turned it in front of Dominic as he was going to work on his motorcycle. The impact was so hard that it killed Dominic instantly. And the guy was trying to flee, but there were witnesses and they stopped him. The first responders that showed up couldn't work the scene because they all knew Dominic. He was a friend of theirs. Fire department showed up. They couldn't work it because he volunteered with them. And finally, they had to call Highway Patrol. The illegal alien was from Guatemala. He had armed robbery, grand theft, no license. And just 5 weeks prior to Dominic's death, he had his second DUI. And he was under the influence, but right under the legal limit. So our lives, his brilliant future was destroyed. And matter of fact, yesterday would have been his 42nd birthday. So 12 years we've been without him, and it still feels like it was just last month. The illegal alien was known by the court, by the DA, who promised me to give justice to Dominic and make sure his life wasn't in vain. And the illegal alien went to court, told the judge that it's like I'm still in that courtroom. It's like a movie flashing, that he was just on his way to work and no responsibility, nothing. He got 9 misdemeanor vehicular manslaughter, 5 years probation, and 9 years. And he served only 35 days. 35 days. He got released from custody because I guess he was so trustworthy. And I was shocked he came back for the sentencing. But it's been a slap in my face. And since then, I started waking up. I didn't know it was an illegal at first. They didn't tell me. That's what they're doing right now. You hardly find out if it's an illegal or not. It's sad because the public doesn't really know how bad it is. How many Americans get killed or harmed by illegals? But after about a year, I started waking up and researching and meeting other angel parents. And I said, my son's life meant something and still means something. So for the last almost 12 years, I've been fighting. I've been to DC. I go to everywhere they want to hear Dominic's story, whether it's 10,000 people or 5 people. I'm sharing the danger of illegal immigration. So we need people to stand up. And people ask me, well, what can I do? I don't go out to talk at events or interviews. People can call their representatives. Let them know it's enough. We don't stand for this anymore. Call them once a week. Call DC. They have a switchboard. They can get you to the person you want to talk to that's in charge of your state. Talk about it with your friends. Talk about it with your neighbors in church. But it's still this whispering about it. Oh, I did a Biden right now. Whispering about it. But No, we need to talk openly about it because we've been at a breaking point. We have wars going on. We have despair in the inner cities. I mean, I'm pretty lucky out here. It's calm. Plus, farmers around here, we all have guns, so that's another thing. But I feel horrible for the kids now growing up, and if we as adults don't do anything right now, especially the grandparents, what you leaving your grandchild? What kind of world? We gotta do better. We gotta get louder and braver. And people will call you. They call me racist. It's like, okay, yawn. How about going to sleep and find something better by tomorrow? It has nothing to do with anything but law and order. And we can't continue this way because I've met too many angel moms and I held them, cried with them, and I still lose it. This pain never gets easier because it was 100% preventable. And a young man that was so full of life and promises for a brilliant future with the sheriff's department in Riverside, California. He was going to be a helicopter pilot. Everybody loved him. They still celebrate him on his birthday. The impact he had on people. He was volunteer of the year. All that was wiped out because somebody was here that didn't belong here, had no right to be here, and didn't care about our laws. It's just a distraction, but I wish people would get louder and speak about it, They get all worked up about some Taylor Swift and this. It doesn't matter in our daily life. But illegal immigration, and I'm getting emotional because I never got to hold a grandchild. My son couldn't walk me down the aisle. And it wasn't because he was careless and had a motorcycle crash. It was because one illegal alien was catered to, released. Oh, don't do this no more. And when he did it again, oh, please don't do it no more. So almost 12 years later, my life's never the same. I'm never the same again. So if people don't wake up, you're gonna feel this pain. And I can't even describe it. You're gonna feel the despair. When you look at pictures one day and you smile because you have a memory, and the next day you look at the same picture and you lose it. So I'm begging people to just start talking about it. Educate yourself while you're on Facebook doing God knows what, or online. Research a little bit. Go to your website. There are many sources for information, and not necessarily the news on TV, because they're all slanted however they need it. Because I watch all of them.
Sabine Durden-Coulter, thank you so much for telling us your story and joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me and giving Dominic a voice, and all these other families that know the pain and will get to know the pain. Thank you so much for all you do.